burdens, amazing things from the Lord for you right now. Hey, I'm author Michael Ramsey, and this is Michael Ramsey Books, where I show people how to transform their ordinary relationship with God into a spiritual one. If you haven't already subscribed on YouTube, be sure to hit the red subscribe button and ring the notification bell now. Acts 16:9. A vision appeared to Paul in the night. A man of Macedonia was standing and pleading with him, saying, "Come over to Macedonia and help us." In addition to light and stirrings within your spirit, or movement within your spirit, as some people describe it, the Lord will begin giving you burdens, a heaviness in your spirit as you progress spiritually. A burden could be something as simple as feeling the need, a weight on you to pray for someone, or it could be something big, like the Lord calling you to go to another place, like Macedonia, to do mission work. When you think about it, a burden is a fascinating thing. It's the Lord sharing his thoughts, feelings, and his concerns with you. To me, this is truly an amazing thing. And isn't sharing your heart something a friend does? It's just another one of those things that makes being a Christian and having a spiritual relationship with God so very interesting. As I alluded to earlier, when you begin to make progress spiritually and you become a spiritual Christian, like Paul talked about in 1 Corinthians 2:15, spiritual things like discernment, light, and burdens are commonplace. They are a component of your spiritual office, not the occasional mountaintop experience. And by the way, when you experience spiritual things, the supernatural things I talk about in these videos, and you take a look around, it becomes quite clear. People who are not walking with the Lord Jesus Christ truly are just the walking dead. Sometimes a burden is for something or someone close at hand. Sometimes it's for someone far away, possibly someone you've never met. But even if you've never met them, the Lord knows them. And he's been thinking about them and thinking about you. He knows you know something, or you have something that will help them. It could be a spiritual gift, a talent, or experience that truly uniquely qualifies you. And that's why he's telling you. That's why he's giving you a burden. You're the best one for the job. You're his first choice for the mission, no matter how large or small it seems to you. It's important to him. Whatever you do could have a monumental impact on people in ways you may never know for generations to come. Watchman Nee, a man who answered the Lord's call 100 years ago, spoke in tiny churches in rural Chinese villages that didn't have electricity or running water on the outskirts of Shanghai. When he accepted the Lord's burden to speak, he could have never guessed. 100 years later, his sermons to a handful of Chinese Christians would be gathered up, published in book form, and have now been read by and helped thousands of Christians in modern day America and throughout the world. When you've been chosen, you're being given an opportunity to do something truly amazing, possibly something nobody else can do. And if you're obedient to his call, like Wife Benee, or like my friend Amanda, whom I'm going to tell you about in just a moment, people may be spending their eternity in heaven because of you. I met Gray when I was a child. He was my best friend in high school. Even though he was a virtuous man with high morals, he wasn't a believer. One day, a family friend of mine who lived 1,000 miles away in Georgia, but only 100 miles away from Gray, messaged me on Facebook and said the Lord was leading her to contact Gray. I said, okay. Over the next few months, Amanda was able to do something I thought was impossible. She led Gray to Christ. He became a fervent, baptized believer. And just in time, not very long afterwards, Gray was diagnosed with terminal cancer. But because Amanda was obedient to the Lord, I get to be friends with Gray again in heaven. This was a gift to me from God via Amanda. And isn't it amazing when the Lord does these types of things like he did for me? This is a wow thing. When the Lord calls you to do something for him, when he places a burden in your spirit, or he may call you by name, like he did Samuel, or he may summon you in a dream to come to Macedonia, like he did Paul. Any of these things is God initiated, not man initiated. This is very different from the way you may have done work for the Lord in the past. It's not the same as participating in a service project or some other kind of ministry with your church. But that's not to say there's anything wrong with these types of activities. I actively participate in as many of them as time allows, and I most certainly encourage you to do the same, as long as it doesn't take precedence over something the Lord has in mind for you to do. And by the way, when your work is God-led, expect the unexpected. Expect unexplainable circumstances that are anything but a coincidence. Expect to see the miraculous power of God. This is when it happens. Expect there to be fruit from your labor, but also expect resistance from the enemy, who will snatch the opportunity from you if he can. Now, there are a few more important things I need to tell you in regards to your spirit and burdens and light, but I've already told you a lot this time. So be sure to subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss the next part. The Spiritual Journey, Volume 1, The Desert, Hardships, and Other Tragic Experiences in Your Life that make no sense at all may very well make perfect sense after you see what's going on from behind the scenes and what God's doing in your life. I'll be able to reveal the cover for this book soon. The Exchanged a Christian-based thriller filled with mystery, suspense, intrigue, and an ending you'll never guess. Not only will you be sitting on the edge of your seat in suspense, when you least expect it, you'll fall out of your seat laughing. And next week, I have a major announcement about The Exchanged. Next time, next step. Again, if you haven't already subscribed on YouTube, be sure and do so now. That way, you don't miss a single video. Can't wait until next time. Like me on Facebook. And visit me at michaelramseybooks.com.